everybody. Welcome to Chasing Sound Live, episode number 3. Got a lot to talk about today. First and foremost, though, thank you to everybody who's checked out one of these lives so far. Having a lot of fun doing it, just coming up with different ideas, and working with the newsletter, which I'll talk about in a sec, and working with the live stream. It's kind of like a behind the scenes of that. Plus, we get to talk about other topics that I've talked about in the past. A lot of you guys have been seeing the stream after the fact, so that's great, but I would love you to subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to Chasing Sound here on YouTube. Our username is Chasing Sound Vids. And make sure you subscribe. What is all the other YouTuber stuff that they say? Hit the bell so you know when I'm going live again or when I ever decide to do a new video, which is every so often now in here. Thanks to everybody that's already got on a live stream. Today we're going to be talking about a couple different topics. I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite stuff from last week's newsletter, and also going to be talking about, as I like to do now, a sneak peek about what's going out in tomorrow's newsletter. And of course, that has to include John Mayer. We just got John Mayer's Sob Rock, which we'll be talking about, and we'll be talking about the guitar on there. We're going to be talking about everything that kind of goes into that and the reception it's been getting. And then the big topic, other than, like a general Q&A, if there's anybody in the live chat, is to talk about how to practice. And everything I like to do when I practice, have a lot of experience practicing over the last 20 or so years, 20 plus years at this point, not only with guitar, but with piano, trumpet, all sorts of different instruments. So have a lot of thoughts on the topic, and I'm kind of excited to share that as the main topic for today. And I'd love to know your guys' practice regimens too. Like, what do you do for practice? Do you practice every day? Do you practice a lot one day, maybe on the weekend? Or, do you do like 30 minutes or an hour every day? Definitely a lot of different lifestyles, so it's hard to practice sometimes each and every day. But like I said, have a lot to talk about on the subject. But let's just jump right into it. I wanted to jump into, first of all, the newsletter. So if you're not signed up, just go over to chasingsound.com and you can sign up. It's in the sidebar. Goes out to, I'm thankful to say, a couple hundred people at this point, which is nice. All good people, a lot of people in our Discord chat. So, hello to you guys. But let's just jump into what I've been liking to do with some of these live streams so far is jumping into some of my favorite links from each week. So each and every week I try to show you the best of what I found in the guitar world, and what that usually entails is me trolling the Guitar World website, the Guitar Player website, guitar.com, and of course, way too much time on YouTube, more than I'm happy to admit. But I do it for you, So you have all the YouTube. Here's Simon. Simon, thank you for joining. I appreciate that. Discord for life. Definitely some of my favorite guitar people on the planet. Really just happy to talk to everybody every day. Let's get into it. I'm gonna do a little screen share here, and the first thing you see is here we have him, Chris Brooks. This is definitely one of my favorite links from last week, where Chris Brooks is talking about stop playing guitar with tension. And if you haven't heard about Chris Brooks, he's a phenomenal instructor here on YouTube. I was just looking at this again today. 14.5 thousand subscribers. I mean, definitely one of the most underrated teachers on the platform. And he's talking all about, I'm going to mute it, but he's talking all about playing guitar without tension. He gets into, playing as lightly as you can, making sure you have great posture. He talks about, a lot of left hand or fretting hand things that I really enjoyed. Videos about 16 minutes, 17 minutes, and I've been talking to people in our chat. I've been sharing it with my kids who are 9 years old and 6 years old, just getting going with guitar. And I've been sharing it with the Discord chat, who, also seems to like it, and we have many votes for how awesome Chris Brooks is. So not only does he, again, talk about, lightly practicing and not practicing where you're putting too much tension or too much pressure on your fretting hand, but another thing that I think a lot of people do is they equate tempo to the amount of effort that you need to do. And I never really thought about that, but it's true. And he says that in the video where maybe you're trying to play over 200 BPM and you think you need a lot more tension, but it's totally not true. So definitely check out Chris Brooks and check out his channel, check out this video. But not only that, I wanted to bring out, because I'm always talking about books on the channel, wanted to bring out some of the stuff I have from him. 3 books at least. I know he has more. I'm always talking about fundamental changes. I should be affiliate for these guys, but 100 arpeggio licks for shred guitar, speed strategies for guitar, and then one of my newer favorites, legato guitar technique mastery. I have a ton of these books, from fundamental changes, and they're just really, really good. If you take a look here, the 100 arpeggio licks one is $20, and on Kindle it's only $10. So if you have something like an iPad, that's a big win right there. And the same thing goes for this legato book. It's only $20 paperback and $10 on Kindle. So kind of wondering what you guys do. Do you guys like more of a paper book? Do you like a digital book so you can carry it? There's definitely benefits to both. I like having some of my digital books in iCloud where I can kind of get to them at any point, even if I don't have a guitar. But I do like the tactical feeling of a book and be able to maybe mark it up with a pencil. So I'd like to know what you guys think because, it's a lot of fun, these books. So go check out Fundamental Changes website. The cool thing about them, too, is that every time that you get a book, you just pop your email in and you're able to download all the audio examples for the book, which I think is really, really helpful. And it just, helps you understand all the exercises that you're working on. The next thing I wanted to talk about from last week, which is really, really a lot of fun, somebody popped this into the Discord chat, and it was Rick Beato on the Left Sits Letter podcast. And, I've subscribed to Bob Lefsetz's newsletter. I've unsubscribed and maybe a couple times. He writes so much. But this particular podcast was a lot of fun. I kind of was a little hesitant to pick it up at first because it was about maybe almost 3 hours of talking, but I used it for a long drive to a lesson that I was doing, and I was really happy I did because, Rick Beato's super humble. He's talking about, how he talked with Rhett Shull to kind of develop this What Makes This Song Great series. And I'm just glad he did because, look where he is now. He never seems arrogant in any way in this podcast. So that was really, really cool to listen to them. And again, the Left Sets newsletter, a little bit too much for me, but I am still subscribed to the podcast, and I'm excited to see what they have, what he does next, because, really, really great music guy that he's been in the industry for a long time. Other thing from last week is this video from Ross Campbell, and I'll talk about him a lot. This is just a technique video where he's talking about bending tap notes. As you can see, beautiful, beautiful Fender Strat here, and his videos have just been phenomenal lately. I feel like he dedicates a lot to his YouTube channel because the lessons are great. He usually has tab. This particular one is all about, doing some tap notes and then bending them up. I just really love his tone. I think his playing that he always does is really, really good. One of the best educators on YouTube. And it kind of rolls into, I had to link to him again this week because he's talking about this Stevie Ray Vaughan stuff where he is, playing the same cool guitar and he's tuned down to E flat and he's in he's playing over E minor backing track and he's using a lot of open strings. So definitely in the style of Stevie Ray Vaughan, just killing it. Go check out his channel. Again, over here, 129,000, well deserved. One of the best educators on YouTube. I it's one of those guys that I always go to his videos every week. Every time they come out, I'm sure to check it out because he plays stuff from a lot of guitarists that I like. You know, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Joe Bonamassa, Josh Smith, and a lot more. So if you haven't heard of Ross Campbell, go check him out. I haven't checked out his Bulletproof Guitar course, but if anyone has, make sure to drop it into the comments if you have, and let me know how it is. I'm sure it's pretty awesome. And if you're not using open strings in your guitar playing already, check it out. I mean, a lot of my favorite guitar players actually do this. Next up, we have Stitch Method Guitar talking about musical phrasing on guitar. This is really, really cool. He's talking about being sick of sounding fragmented. So he brings up a simple phrase where he talks about just saying a physical phrase, like a sentence like "I love pizza," and it's funny, but he has a lot of fun with that, and definitely one of my favorite lessons of this week. I think he's playing a PRS SE here. It sounds awesome. And it's a lot of fun. Go check out Stitch Method Guitar. He's heavy, as you can see from the video. He's heavy into the jam band scene, but he's a lot of fun over here on YouTube. We also have, like I was talking about, John Mayer. John Mayer is I don't know who made this channel, but I'm glad they did. It's a channel called John Mayer's Thoughts. This video right here is all about accentuating the chord changes. Really fun, and speaks to something that I've been trying to work on for the past couple years. Just getting better at hitting chord tones, making sure to really think about what chords I'm hitting next. Not just thinking about the overall key signature, which I feel like a lot of young guitar players do. They just think about, I'm in E minor, I'm gonna play E minor pentatonic, or even E major pentatonic over this. Maybe they don't even think that. What do you guys do? Are you at that point yet? Are you, sticking with one scale? Do you try to kind of mix scales up? I think this is a great video about that. And I keep on trying to find more and more videos about this. And we mentioned a lot of guitar apps last week, and I've been using Solo to try to see where all those intervallic functions are, and really understand the fretboard better. So, if you guys have any great videos about that, feel free to drop those in the comments too, because I've been really excited to work on that all year. And this is a follow-up video that I also added to the newsletter, where they're talking about his Mayer's versatility comes from his influences. And I think that's so true. I mean, not only for John Mayer, but for myself and a lot of other guitar players that I really like combine a lot of different influences. And I like the quote here, "I'm always changing my major." He's always trying to change things up. I remember his first album, which I brought another one of my my books here to share with you guys. Room for Squares. Very excited. I was very excited at the time to pick this up. I was a big Dave Matthews fan, and then hearing John Mayer, I was excited to understand songs like Neon and just everything off the album. Plus, it's mixed by one of my favorite mixers in the world, so that was a lot of fun. I always love that. But he's done that. He's done the ballads. He's done R&B. He's done a little bit of country, and now he's doing all this 80s stuff. And if you are in the chat, and thank you if you are, I'd like to know what you think about the album. We were talking a little bit about it this afternoon, and some people are giving it bad reviews, other people are raving about it, and I'm definitely in the camp of raving about it. I think this John Mayer album is excellent. The guitar tones are excellent, the playing is excellent, and the songwriting, while it's not Room for Squares for me or Continuum, which are some of my favorites, I still think it's up there, maybe in the top 3, top 5 of all the albums he has. And he had a funny quote where he said that if you're not into this album, he has a lot of other albums for you to check out. But I am excited about this album, and I do think there's a lot of great guitar playing on it. The tones are amazing, and he's really going all into it. He has commercials where he has a cassette tape. He's really, if he's trolling everybody, he's doing a real good job. And actually this morning I saw this website, which is where he's selling the vinyl, he's selling the cassette tape he's talking about, selling a couple shirts. But then the funny thing is, if you go up here to the top left, there's all sorts of different things. The Sob Rock Universe collection, where it's very like university-esque. The Sob Rock Beach Club. I mean, it's just too good. I applaud him for kind of laughing in the face of a lot of these critics. And yeah, at the end of the day, he can do what he wants. He has a great new album out. His guitars are really doing well. I know a lot of people that have picked up the Silver Sky as an alternative to a Strat. They just really enjoy John Mayer, or they really enjoy that tone. I've seen everyone from Dave Weiner of Steve Vai's band have one to, just a lot of YouTubers at this point. One of the other cool videos I linked to in tomorrow's newsletter was Tomo Fujita, who's actually John's old teacher at Berkeley. He was one of the first guys to get the Silver Sky in Roxy Pink, which is a really cool version of it. You can see it on I believe it's on the Last Train Home video, and it's just really good. You gotta love that comment. I mean, it's just too fantastic. And I mean, if it does mean that, good for him, right? It's just he's trolling us all, like I said. And speaking of trolling, it's kind of a nice segue. I feel like Billy Gibbons is trolling us all because we have this wonderful guitar, which is really cool. So let's talk about the cool parts first. It's the new Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top signature model. It has this Gyrox system, which if you haven't seen this system yet, go check out Dower Braun on YouTube as well. Really cool YouTuber who reviews a ton of guitars and amps and pedals. He reviewed this Gyrox system where you can literally like roll the pickup into a different style pickup. And there's also pickup packs that you can use. It's very cool. The body shape is giving me, like I was trying to say in our Discord chat, very St. Vincent vibes, and kind of like between a St. Vincent and something like a funny looking Explorer. I think the guitar looks really, really cool. I like the pickup system. I think that's really, really unique. And then as Simon from our chat pointed out to me before I was even seeing it, if you go all the way down here, you have this sentence. The guitar is available now for $9,999. Now, folks, I don't know about you, but I can't think about purchasing this guitar in my lifetime. Not only would I not buy a signature for $10,000, you see some of the Slash guitars in that $10,000 range, but I mean, for a signature guitar like this, like I said, while it looks really, really cool and I'm sure it sounds great, if I'm spending $10,000, I'm going to get like a custom SUR, a custom PRS. I am definitely not getting somebody's signature guitar for $10,000. What do you think of this? Make sure you put it into the chat, put it into the comments. I just think it's really, really ridiculous. And I don't know how you talk about this with a little bit of hilarity ensuing, $10,000, folks. I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure it's a great guitar, but it's just not for me at that price range. There's so many great guitars now, even in the $1,000 to $2,000 range that you can get, that it just does not make any sense to me. But with that being said, we're kind of moving along here. We're kind of trucking along. Let's move on to the main topic for today. And I wanted to talk all about how to actually commit to practicing guitar. And that, to some of you that might sound crazy. I play guitar every day. I don't need anything to worry about, with guitar. But for me, every once in a while, other things might take precedence. I'm a dad, so could be just the kids. I'm too busy to play guitar, or maybe I'm exhausted after work and I just maybe, want to play video games instead of playing guitar. That's changed a lot over the last couple of years, but I think, as you get older, it's kind of interesting to see how you practice as a kid and what you can do nowadays. So the first thing that I've been doing lately is finding out where my time has been going. So I'm not sure if it's available for anything outside of the Apple ecosystem right now, but well, actually, it should be. I'm using the app called Timery, and it's for this website called Toggle. Let's see if I could bring it up here. So Timery is a great app for this tracking service called Toggle. And the cool thing about it is I don't have any subscription to Toggle, but I do have one to Timery, the app. It's about $10 a year. Lets you now I want ice cream, but it lets you track your time and have multiple projects. So you can say when you're doing your day job. You can say when you're practicing guitar. Maybe what type of stuff you're working on. But I also did it for leisure. I set up a couple different tags for leisure because I wanted to make sure that I knew where my time was going. Am I watching YouTube for too long? Am I playing video games for too long? What else? I mean, just there's at least 4 or 5 categories in leisure. And then at the end of the week, Timery will email you, or I can't remember if it's Timery or Toggle, but they'll email you a summary of where your time has gone. So, of course, you always want to see 40 hours in your day job. And then, I like to see a lot of time dedicated to chasing Sound, the brand, whether that be doing this live stream, researching for an article or a video, writing an article, writing the newsletter. There's a lot of things, that go into that in general. And I want to have as much time in that as possible. I even track my family time, how much time am I spending with my kids, which is a lot, which I'm always happy to see. But yeah, check out, it doesn't have to be Timery, but I think it's good that you find out where that your time is going, because one of the number one excuses, and if again, if you're in the chat, let me know if this applies to you. But one of the number one excuses I've seen is that people always complain about, I don't have enough time. One of my other projects in the Timery app is TV and movies. So if I'm watching TV and movies, something like the new Loki show or Netflix, do I really need to watch that right now? I'm not trying to get that stuff entirely out of my life, but I feel like you can't complain about guitar and getting better if you don't really, commit some time to it each and every week. And not each and every week, but just each and every day if you can. Because it's not great, like I alluded to at the beginning, just to practice on a Sunday. It might be okay, but you're really going to get a lot more mileage out of practicing Monday through Sunday, and just even if it's for a little bit, even if it's for half an hour. The next thing I think that it's important is to have a distraction-free environment. The things that I like to do for that are I turn my phone on airplane mode, have a coffee, always. I have my notebook, and I have my guitar tuned. I don't want to have any excuses when I sit down. I'm also using another app because, again, if you popped into the chat last week, I use a ton of apps, but I'm using this app called Forest. And again, it doesn't have to be this app, but it's just one I like. The cool thing about Forest is that it's a timer. Say I want to practice for an hour. The good thing about that is that if once you start the app, it kind of starts growing this virtual tree. And after you're done with your hour, you will have gotten a tree. I think if you do enough sessions with it, they actually plant physical trees. So you're actually doing a good thing as well in real life. But if you get out of the app, your tree will die. So, it's just a fun app. I don't think it really costs much. And if it did, maybe it's like $1 or $2. But check out Forest. It's a good timer app. Kind of like one of these Pomodoro timers, which you can find anywhere. There's a ton of free timers on the store that you can use. You could use a simple stopwatch, but I like the thing with Forest because it kind of adds an extra layer to the timing. So distraction-free environment. Make sure you're committing that time, and if something hits you up like a message or Twitter or an email, that you don't worry about that for that hour. You worry about practicing guitar and learning stuff. Another thing that I found is hugely important is to know what I want to practice when I sit down in the chair, and how you'll get there. So, I was learning from Guthrie Govan a while back, from one of the videos he did, and that every type of guitar player, of course, has merit, right? If you want to sit down and play guitar and you just want to strum a couple acoustic songs, it's just as good as if you want to, shred out on Jason Becker licks, and learn your chord tones, like I had said. And there's different disciplines for each one. So if you know that I want to play at 200 beats per minute, and you want to play clean, and you want to learn legato, you want to learn legato, you want to learn all these different things. You want to learn country licks. Simon's in the chat, so I'm already upset that I said country licks. But yeah, if you want to do all these things, it takes a lot of different disciplines to do. So I think it's good to try to change it up each and every day. Maybe some days you work on theory, some days you work on songwriting, because you can't leave that out. If you don't want to be a songwriter, that's fine. If you just want to play guitar, but the reason we're learning most of this stuff is to write songs and play music. So I think that's important to make sure you make time for. If you want to learn a technique, if you want to learn ear training, that's fine. Try to do 4 or 5 things a day, and then the ones that you missed, set them up for the next day. In my case, maybe I'll do 5 or 6 things. But the biggest thing that I try to do, and especially for my students, is that I want to make sure that we're learning a technique or a style or a riff from a song that they like. I think gone should be the days of us playing guitar and just doing simple 1, 2, 3, 4 scales. Now, that's fine if you need that to do that for hand strength, and there's a place for that. But if you want to learn something like legato or hammer-ons or pull-offs, try to learn it from a song that you like and push yourself. I remember growing up listening to a lot of Metallica, trying to learn James Hetfield riffs, trying to learn Kirk Hammett leads, and it was hard at the time, but I feel like it really made me a better guitar player at the time. So that's the biggest thing. Try to find, maybe a chord that strikes your ear that you really like it, or a technique that you want to learn, and then apply that. And the biggest thing about that too is you don't have to get the whole song down. I'm trying to learn a lot of Aristocrat songs, and it's a hard thing to do. So I'll take it a bar or 2 at a time, because that's the only way I can do it. And go back to some of the other episodes of this podcast or this live stream, because I shared with you guys some Mac apps that will help you do that and slow down videos, slow down songs without changing the pitch, so you can learn them pretty easily. Other thing I like to do, kind of in that same vein, is I like to have a metronome. We talked about that last week too. There's so many different metronome apps. There's physical metronomes that you can do. But backing tracks are so important, because they allow you to do the guitar ideas that you have and put them into a musical context right away. So actually, on top of that, I was alerted to something cool this week, where Thomas McRocklin, is doing this thing called DreamStream. So check it out at getdreamstream.com. And it seems like it's a lot of his stuff, or a lot of his stuff that he does with McRocklin and Hutch, who's one of his friends, where they have a guitar synthwavy type band. The cool thing about it is that he has a couple packs out already, all these volume 1s of synthwave backing tracks. The cool thing about these is that they are royalty free. So, I would imagine playing these on this live stream, when we get a little bit more actual guitars in the live stream to play, because he has dark synthwave party, and you can stream it everywhere: Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, and they're safe. You're not going to get a takedown notice from YouTube that you're using somebody else's music. And you can see a couple different things are coming up: EDM, some lo-fi stuff, some indie rock stuff. I'm really happy he's doing this. I mean, I think it will bring more awareness to McRocklin and Hutch, and to McRocklin in general. And more power to that because he's such a great guitar player, super, super talented guy. And I think these are great. Um, Even if you just go on YouTube and search backing track, whatever style, whatever key, you will find it. And in more the better backing track videos, you're gonna find the chord changes that you're working with over each backing track. So there's no excuse there. There's so many ways to really practice and have a backing track with you. Next thing I wanted to talk about was in regards to practice was what else to have with you. I mentioned trying to do a distraction-free environment. That's all well and good, but to get more of a benefit out of the practice that you're doing, I think it's important to have a couple things: a notebook, as I mentioned before, some staff paper, and that's if you want to write actual notation or you want to write tablature, and your camera or basically your phone. Um, the notebook is good because you could use it to write down what you practiced, so the next day what to what you should work on. You could also write down any comments that you felt, this was too difficult for me, or this was a little bit easy. I want to work on something else. The staff paper is really good because it's an old school way of writing down your licks, and I think we should be writing down our licks anyway. If we think of something new and cool, you want to write it down so you don't forget it. But something that kind of combines both of those is being able to use your phone. So if you use your phone, you not only get a capture of what you played, but you're also able to see where you played it on the neck, which is really, really helpful. I always like to talk about creating a lick library. I have one on my desktop here it's split up into 2 folders, and then there's more folders on top of that. So there's a lick library of licks I wrote, and then from others. So that could be the from others list could be licks that I want to learn, or it could be just a lick that I was happy with that I want to remember for another time. And then I try to split it. It's not perfect, but I try to split it up into different genres, or I try to at least tag it with a different genre. And then my own riffs, I do the same thing in that other folder. So you can pop all your videos in there, and even if you don't want to go the full step of recording your videos via video, at least do it via the Memos app on your phone for audio, so you at least have it. Because the worst thing you could do is not really have your ideas, when you want to go back to that. And I think a lot of the great guitar players that I've seen do this. They have all these different riffs to pick and choose from, and then when time comes to write an album, they kind of put some of these things together, work with the bandmates, and they create a full album. So that's definitely what's worked for me in the past, and I hope it'll work for you. But there's one other thing I wanted to talk about, and we kind of talked about it on other live streams, but train when you don't have a guitar in your hand. Again, this could be done in a number of ways. It could be done, again, with apps. I feel like I'm talking about apps all the time, but they've been so helpful for me. Apps like an interval trainer, a note finder, a rhythm game on the phone. They're all helpful in making you a better musician. Or actively listen to some of your favorite artists, just like I mentioned. I think one of the things that makes Guthrie Govan so good is because he has such a wide vocabulary from so many different styles. He can play country, he can play metal, he can play blues, he can play shred guitar, of course. He knows all these things, but not only does he know them, he knows the vocabulary of some of these genres. So soak up that vocabulary, and then if you even get a chance, if maybe you don't have your guitar with you, but you have something like Guitar Pro, which we mentioned. Maybe you're traveling. I just traveled, and I was able to take my laptop. I have Guitar Pro. If I wanted to notate some riffs while I was at the hotel, I think that's a great use of time, rather than just watching the news or, seeing everything else going on Twitter. It's really, really cool. But I would like to know, your thoughts on everything, not only just this practice stuff, but the live stream in general. I think that's it for me for this week. I'm really excited to do this each and every other week. We're doing it every 2 weeks now, but I'd like to get it going. Maybe if Saturday doesn't work for everybody, try to get into something where I maybe do like a Wednesday or Thursday live stream. Let me know in the comments what works for you. You know, what time you like to watch live streams best, and I'll try to be flexible around that. Or other topics that you'd want to talk about on the live stream. To me, you know, I wasn't sure on episode 1 what this would be. And I've been doing podcasting for so long about a number of different topics, mainly Apple and apps. So it's finally nice to do one on guitar. And I feel like this is my best thing at doing a video podcast. And I like doing it this way because I feel like, you know, on a podcast, sometimes it's a little hard for guitar to convey something, especially if, you know, I'm trying to show you something on Safari, on my web browser, or, you know, show you a lick down the road and so on. So, you know, I've had a lot of fun doing it this way. And for everyone who's checked these out again after the fact, I really, really appreciate you guys. I'm going to keep on doing them. And I will talk to you guys in 2 weeks. Thanks for watching.